Right, John, do you want to tell
How's it,
Dean a little
Dean?
bit about you?
Nice to see you here with us. I tell you, you're now part of a magic part of Steel Awards, a new part of Steel Awards. In the past, we've never talked to the professional teams, and I believe me, it's made a huge difference.
Oh, brilliant.
So
Correct.
thanks for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you, man.
Right, Dean, so do you want to just tell us a little bit about what your role in the project was and where you're from?
Okay, so Joburg, originally Joburg, went to school in Natal and then came to Cape Town about 20 years ago. I was originally in advertising as an art director and then sort of progressed into design and product design and then into retail design, units and fixtures and stores. And then after about 8 years of doing retail, we started researching sort of cabins and pods because there was quite a trend happening over the last couple of years in Canada and Sweden. And so initially we did our first structure on our farm in Blombos, and that was completely out of plywood. And it wasn't a success because wood is a very tricky thing to get straight and accurate and work with, and it likes to move and bend, particularly when it's in nature. And part of our research, we came across lightweight steel, and the speed and the accuracy and the efficiencies when we were doing our research just looked like it was the perfect structural component of our offering. So we as myself, I have a furniture business with a partner, Trout, and then we have a partner who has been in the building industry for 20 years, very experienced in roofing and sheeting, but he's an absolute asset to the team.
Just, Dean, if you'd like to, I do have some of the photos that were submitted of the project, but I have also enabled screen sharing if there's anything that you'd like to share, just to illustrate an answer to a question. Otherwise, I'll share and you can talk to those images. Just from I think what I'd like to do is just run through the architectural questions, and then, you know, if the judges have any other questions in between there. I just realized I haven't introduced myself. I'm Denise Sherman. I'm the marketing director for the Steel Institute, and wrangler of all things Steel Awards related this year. So what was the kind of architectural brief or the vision for this project? How did this particular project come about?
So we're talking about Trout Haven.
Yes,
is that
Trout
correct?
Haven.
Or Trout Haven.
Yeah.
So the clients, amazing clients, knew an interior person called Kim from U Interiors, and Kim introduced them to the architect Nikita from Mode. And Nikita had done designs with containers. So there was a bit of a trend with containers being converted into houses. Unfortunately, when we did our costings for her, to her spec, we just had to cut away too much steel and reinforce it. So it was almost like we delivered this container and then cut the whole thing up, and then had to add more steel to it. So we had done all our research on lightweight steel, and we showed her all the efficiencies of lightweight steel construction. And, you know, we then designed it with her and the client. The brief was for 10 units, to build 3 initially to test if it would sell. And they've been fully booked, which is great for the client. So we still have to do another 7 on their land. But it was a very tight brief. It was 3 units, which were 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and the deadline was 4 months. So we built 3 houses in 4 months.
Emmanuel, John, any questions from your side so far?
Yes, Dean, in terms of, I heard that you're actually a designer. Who introduced you to light steel frame construction, and what have you noticed is easier or more challenging than, let's say, wood framing that you're probably more used to?
So we had a builder in Paarl who recommended that we go and see the fabricator. So he has a factory in Strand, and he has a machine with all the software that you need to do what he needs to do. It was to give you an idea of how excited we are about the lightweight steel. I would physically place the order, pay him a deposit on Monday. 1 week later, the structure would arrive, all flat packed, but windows and doors and all the cutouts in place. And 8 hours later, the whole structure is up. So I even had the client phone me saying he couldn't believe it. He's never seen anything go up so quickly and arrive so quickly. So it was 1 week order to get the 2-bedroom, 60 square meter house, and 8 hours to put everything up. So it just shows you how efficient the lightweight steel is. Whereas with wood, it would have taken us, I imagine, a month to get the structure up and accurate and square.
So what were some of the challenges that you did have on the project, and how did you overcome them?
Weather, that was one problem, but everyone has that problem. We had to design the windows to the window framing and door frames to fit into the steel and the corrugation and be watertight and weatherproof. So my project manager, Louis, designed a U-channel that goes around. So the U-channel sits just outside of the 30mm corrugation and just inside. So, and then the water can run down the corrugation into the U-channel and then out. So that was one challenge, which was actually it was a very good solution in the end, and we're using that same technique going forward. Trying to think. The only other challenge was time. We had to work very fast.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the actual fabrication and erection process. How did that go? You said it was really fast. Give us a bit more insight into the.
So we spend a couple of weeks prepping the ground with the structural poles and rafters, and then we put down 32 mils of pine ply across the substructure, and that is preparing for the steel that will arrive. So the interesting thing was the unit was 12 meters wide. We built our deck to be 12 meters and 24 mils. So 12 meters, 24 millimeters. The house arrives, and as it arrives, it goes down onto the substructure, and the accuracy of the steel let 12 mils be left on the one side and 12 mils be left on the other side. I mean, I couldn't believe we actually measured. So you ordered something from Strand, it arrives in the mountains, and it goes down onto the substructure with 12 mils to spare on each side. And that 12 mils is so that OSB can be stuck on the sides as structural. So it was unbelievable how accurate it was.
John, Emmanuel, any questions or comments? You're good. What are you most proud of on this project, Dean? Oh wait, there we go. John's
just I'm backing to remember what the actual structural elements look like.
That's a 4-bedroom unit in Bainscliff with glass bathrooms on the sides.
At last, okay.
So that is a side image. So there's that beautiful matte black corrugation from Safintra. They call it textured grey. That's the waterproofing layer going on top of the OSB. Just going to see. So you can see the structural steel inside, and that's fitted inside of that is a cavity bat, a 102 cavity bat, which is the insulation. Let me just see. That is the Trout Haven unit at the back with the
Yeah.
windows and roof sheeting going on. That's the unit fully clad.
Nice.
This is the internal. So this we used a tongue and groove spruce, but you can clad it with anything on the inside.
Oh, sure.
Just trying to give you this. There is the 12mm OSB that sits on top of the steel. And then there's that sweat band for water to run off. That's my family. And then some interesting electrical stuff. This is birch clad inside. We did our own swimming pools that heat up.
Nice.
And then we don't use tiles or grouting or any of that kind of stuff. We hate it. So we used flat sheets as our final finish in our bathrooms.
By flat sheets, you mean like steel sheets, or?
Yes, also from Safincha. So instead of bending it up into a corrugation, we just order them off the roll flat.
Oh, cool.
And then you never have a grouting issue ever again.
Yeah.
Dean, when we finished with this call, could I ask you just perhaps to send me these photos so that we can include it in the submission, or
Yes.
whichever the photos that you'd like to share? Yeah, because it's always nice to see, you know, when it's finished, everything's all clad and you can't really see the steel. So it's good to see the bare bones construction process.
Is
Magnificent view, eh? Wow.
Magnificent. So this is also a challenge for us, and it was a really nice debate between myself, the architect, the lightweight steel supplier. So normally this beam sits on the outside, and then the door sits underneath it. But what we wanted to do was to achieve full height glass aesthetically from the outside. So you have a very clean box as opposed to a sill running across the top of your doors. So we just pushed it back on the inside, and then that all got cladded up with wood. And then you've also got a nice gap for your blinds to roll up into. So that was...
Great, good idea.
Steel kitchens, no tiles or splashbacks. We just bent up the stainless steel. That's Trout Haven going up.
Here we go. Yeah. Now where's John Barnard on this one?
I've sent him
I don't think he even knew about it. You didn't recognize this as one of his products.
We didn't actually realize the extent of light steel that went into this, because it was entered as a cladding entry. So it's a pleasant surprise to see the amount of LSF that's gone into it.
Sorry, Dean, question for you. How was the logistics? Meaning, how did you get the stuff in there? And I guess it was all manually lifted up and erected.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, a wall panel, which would be 3 meters by 3 meters, for instance, that can be lifted into place with 2 people. It's incredibly light. And that's obviously why they can put that whole house up in a day. So they did all that steel work, the structural part, in 8 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
So there it is lying on the floor when it arrives. And there's the substructure, the 12 meters.
And of course it helps with your foundations because it's so light.
And it's so light. The engineers want your foundation to be extremely sturdy because of the lightness of the building. So they want you to tie it onto something structurally sound. Beautiful.
Very nice. Well done.
And we tried to make it look better than the rendering.
Yes.
You see, Dean, this is why this sort of interaction with you is so valuable. We didn't see all this before.
Okay.
That's great. Do you have any footage of the project? Do you have any like renders or things like that you can send through? So, what we've been doing with some of the other projects that we haven't been able to physically go and visit is getting the team to send through like a model walkthrough as a video. or if they've got any drone footage or any supplementary video footage would really be fantastic and helpful in putting the project profile video together. So if you've got any of that, please do send that through as well, along with the photos.
Look, the environment here sets this apart from most of the other projects. This is a beautiful place, man.
Yeah, that's the most exciting thing. I used to fly to Johannesburg once a week and go to Menlyn Park, and you can only work after 9 o'clock at night. And, retail just became so tricky. Whereas now you wake up on a Tuesday morning and you're in Bainscliff Pass and you can hear the river, and it's unbelievable to sort of see that's your office.
Tough life, hey? It's a sacrifice, but you can.
Someone's got to do it. Eh? No, it's a tough one. Tough one.
And this is the textured grey smoke from Safintra.
It works well, eh?
It's absolutely. We didn't plan it. We were not this clever, but when we finished Bainscliff, and Bainscliff is quite sparsely populated with holiday houses. Only 3 really.
Mm.
And you can see the other 2 quite clearly when you're driving into the pass. But when we looked at this black material, it actually looks like a shadow on the mountain. So it totally doesn't interrupt with nature whatsoever. It doesn't reflect when the sun hits at a certain angle.
Mm.
So we didn't plan it that way. But when we stop the car and turn around and you look, it is literally like a shadow on the mountain. So that's a very good thing, as opposed to this block house.
In your face stuff, yeah.
And we design all this internal stuff. So this is our hangar that we designed, and all the hangers and powder coated shelves. We took the quick hot prep bowls, those stainless steel prep bowls.
Yes.
And we powder coated that, and it's a 280 Rand prep bowl, but it now looks like a 3,000 Rand prep bowl.
Yeah.
Wow, really nice. Nice project, Dean.
So, and a great team, a very good architect. Kim from U Interiors, she was very talented, and she sort of filled the spaces beautifully. And then the clients, great clients, very happy, and very good team effort.
Right, we've got about 5 minutes or so before we end our call. I just wanted to see from Emmanuel, Duncan, any further, and John Duncan, any further questions or comments on this project?
Just a question for Dean. Do you think you've done something novel in the project, and if so, what would that be?
What I've found in sort of the building industry is you do have specialists, and what we've tried to do is, instead of purchasing something, we like to make it. Like that quick hot prep bowl example. So instead of buying it from Itatal, we source something and we sort of modify it or make it better. So that big unit in Bainscliff, this one, we gave it a name. It's called the Black Pearl. And we even designed the key rings with quite sort of iconic little pirate skull and crossbones. So I think we offer, everything from the initial concepts right the way through to handing over the key ring. And even order all the wood for the client and make sure that he's got enough wood for 3 months. So I think that may have answered your question.
John, any final comments and questions from your side?
No, I think what the mild innovation here is to recognize that there are different ways of building, and you've found a highly effective way of providing little holiday houses that are absolutely stunning in a great environment, a lovely environment, beautiful environment. Well done. I like it.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's about it from my side. One last question for you, Dean, is what are you most proud of on this project?
The fact that the clients let us stay there for free afterwards. So we've had free weekends at Trout Haven. We're hoping to do such a good job that we have holiday houses across the country for the rest of our lives. But just the team. So very, very few mistakes, very skilled people. We have a competition who can be the smartest across all disciplines. So who can find, all the simpler way of doing something or a cheaper way with the same effect. Yeah,